So what I am doing is I have a lot of these little tiny planters, and I would tuck them in nooks and crannies, and I like this stuff. I think the birds like to kind of hop around on the top of it, and they also, I've showed this in previous videos, the way that I insert these, there's like a whole world underneath this stuff that they crawl around in, so it's kind of neat. Okay, so anyway, the problem with them is that they tip over all the time when I'm dragging the hose through, or I step on them and I tip them over, and eventually I sort of damage the plants. So I'm going to fit these into a specific location, which is usually not a good idea for me because I tend to rearrange a little bit. Did you know? Did you notice that? What this does is it makes sure that the epoxy doesn't actually stick, so I can still remove them and clean them. But then I can form it to the space. And then the reason I'm tying up the foliage is because, okay, not working. Everything's a learning curve. You're glad I don't film every single thing I do. So that's what this is all about this morning. Oh, I'm also gonna use the same technique with my fruit fly feeder to make an impression that's level somewhere. I have to figure out where. Today was the day that was supposed to be warmer. It's not warmer. Hose is still frozen. Everything's frozen. Everything's covered in snow. Now it's all centered, the snow. Yeah, there we go. It's all centered, so it's compressed and heavy and okay, perfect. That's going to be great. This is one of those little view channels that is put on the greenhouse panels. I had a little extra piece. Drilled a hole so I can get the screw head in here, the drill head. And so what I'm thinking is that I can put that up on the wall. And then attach nest boxes, maybe. Have some flexibility. So I'm going to try that. Sorta. Conceptually good. I don't like how springy it is. But the concept is good. The next thing, it's a pretty easy project to do. or at least try, is I'm going to try and fix the Lisa tree. I have all my branches that have fallen off. And the only thing I can think of that might even be worth a try is I've got my shrimp tubing kit. And I'm wondering if I can somehow use the shrimp tubing to attach the branch back to the tree. There's just nothing to attach it to. Okay. It'd be a great way to attach them to something else. I mean, it attaches great to this part. There's just a little nothing. Okay. Well, I can't figure you out. I don't know. Okay. I'll take it back up. So we can at least try it. And then I also, while I was looking for that, I also found this stuff, which I think I'm going to use some of it at least to help with the, to make the sliding door, sliding trapdoor, but it's C-channel, but it's rigid, unlike the plastic that I tried. That's a nice feature. Going anywhere. We'll see. Try it for a while. Okay. That might be a win. We'll see. I have another idea. I got this viney stuff. It's kind of fragile. It's got a rubbery outside and a wire on the inside. And I didn't like it too much because you have to be careful if you bend it too much. I have it in the cages with the violet ears. I like this kind of stuff. I just like things that move and make them balance and whatnot. I like the reed better, but I had an idea and it worked. If I cut a little slot in it, I can put the branch in and it seems to hold nicely. For now anyway. We'll see what happens when I start bending it. So I'm going to, it's kind of like grafting actually. Better than sitting in a box, maybe. Good morning. Welcome back to the aviary. Day. I'm not even going to pretend like I know what day it is. So this is the Lisa tree. Took all the little vine stuff that I had never used and made vines out of them. I stuck the leaves that had already broken off into the vine. So I played around with that a little bit last night. Then I went to see how secure the other branch, the other little branchlets were, and they were a boop, 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 boop. So I popped them off instead of waiting for them to come off the next time I clean them, and made vines out of them. And I like it. And I think the birds will have a blast. But anyway, so there's that. So what I thought, so I'm gonna work in here today. This little guy checks for temperature changes, so you can see where you're leaking. If you can't, just feel it. Definitely colder on the window. It's interesting. So I went to a lot of trouble to triple pane that window, and it's not doing a great job of insulating. By triple pane, I mean 1/2 inch thick. Those were scrap pieces of the plexiglass when they cut down these walls. 1/2 inch plexiglass, at least a 1/2 inch gap, another 1/2 inch, another 3. Interesting. Okay. Forgot I made that so I could go in and out from here. So I can lock myself in. What it tells me is what I already know. Like if it feels cold, cold air is coming in. Remember when I said it could be a job that would take all day? For ridiculous reasons, and I didn't even bother filming. I didn't have a vision of how I was going to insulate it. I don't even want to describe what I was trying to do. So anyway, now I've got the insulation in. It's cut around all the little nooks and crannies. How hard could that be? There's one under there, obviously, as well. Yeah, not that hard. It took me hours to figure out how I wanted to do that. Okay, so let's put the boards back in. No, caulk, put the boards back in. I'm going to put a bead of caulk in there and start putting it back together again. So that's the exciting work to be done. I mean, I guess the big problem is the door now. Everything I've tried, all the gaskets and stuff don't really work. This is another task that I do not have a clear vision about, which leads me to believe that it may not work. As high up as it would go. Huh. You know? How do I secure it at the top? If I secure it at the very top, I found exactly what I need. Bungees for holding down a tarp. But what I've got is a frame that the door slides in, and I left little T-edges outside so I can hook it, because nothing can interfere with the sliding. And now all I have to do is figure out how to hook up the remote control mechanism to it. I like it. I like it. I think it'll work. Yes, finally something goes well today. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something about that gap. I was gonna try and leave the wooden frame out, but this is bad news. Okay, minor adjustment. So now it goes all the way to the top. We'll see. Okay. Well, I thought of some legitimate projects for trying the colorant and the epoxy. So this is going to be the bottom of the cedar root vine that I raised up to get the foliage up out of the way a little bit. That's one project. These are my fruit fly feeders, and I have my little island that I put, but I don't really need a separate piece. I could just make a little epoxy island in the dish itself, and then that seems like that should work. So I've got a few to try. This is just a project. It makes me crazy that these guys tip over when I try to hang them, so I can just sort of epoxy them in place. But I like the shape of these, and I cut these down, and these are deeper for seeds, and that's for, you know, whatever, egg food. I'm all particular about my dishes. So I thought, why not? Let's play around with it, and if I get it completely wrong and it's terrible, no harm done. It'll still be functional, I think. So that's going to be the project for tonight, and then they can dry overnight. I think it's mixed up okay. I think it's kind of an interesting color all by itself. So anyway, I think I'll just use a little bit of it in the natural color for these guys, just to kind of see. How am I going to do this? Exactly how to do this. It looks exactly like gum, which I'm not gonna say is a super attractive look, but we're after functional here. All right. Okay. Now what? Should we try to make an island? Yeah, let's make an island. But we should make it a colored island. Should we try a mossy island? Yeah. Let's try a mossy. Okay. 1 nail's worth of green. Now it looks like a sugar cookie. Okay. Now, that was 1 drop of that guy. All right, let's try and make a branch. All right, 1 more. All right, well, I guess it is what it is. Okay. See if I can get it to kind of look like cedar. Did not think about something though. Unless I want to sit here for several hours. That looks all right. All right. I have a couple places I can use this stuff, so I'm gonna go do that. All right. I'm stealing these. I'll be right back. Okay. I was hoping that they would be dry. And they're not completely dry because I have to start teaching the new birds about how to pick the flies out of the feeder before I need them to know how to do that. Yeah, these aren't completely cured either. Okay, but they're not moving around, which is good. Yeah, let me do that, get them out of the way. I'll be right back. So I have a little bit more epoxy. Whatever I'd like to do it now. Maybe I could try a darker green and make it look like a mossy island this time, instead of a lichen island. Which turned out to be remarkably similar color to my cup. Now that I look at it. Epoxy projects are done. I've moved the trays into the bird room to dry because I have a bad habit of stepping on things. And I had a couple of these grasses left over, and so I just used the last little bit to kind of stick them to that. So I'm going to bundle this up, take it up to the recycling. And get that out of the way. I had an idea of how I could try to insulate the doors. So I might try that next. It's so close. Okay, recycling. Minus the blue part. That's nice. Oh, I gotta figure that out. This is that sliding panel that I have between the bug screen is on the outside, rodent screen is on the inside, and then this panel slides in between. It wasn't the smartest idea in the world, but it was so I could improve ventilation or close it off. The problem is, of course, closing it off, there's still a pretty big air gap there and a lot of cold air seeps in. And on top of that, I have to leave it out open on both sides because when I slide it in, I can't reach it to pull it back out, so I have to push something in from the back side. So I'm just putting a little tether on, just drilled a couple of holes in it, and putting a little tether so I can retrieve it. So we'll see if that works. That would be handy. One of those things you just don't really think through, you know, when you're first building something. In retrospect, I probably didn't need to embed it at all. All right, so let's see. If I pop it in there, let's say those are tucked away. You can see how that's going to be a problem now, but I can go, yeah, okay. Now what I can do is plug this side . 49. And I think I have just the thing that will work for that. Okay. I think I have an answer for the that big gap between the cage and the window. I just have to make a little frame, I think. So that's what I am going to do. I had a kind of a disheartening day. I had an idea how I could maybe insulate the front door by making a little gasket out of spray foam. So I covered the door kind of the same way I do with the epoxy so it doesn't stick. So I covered the door edges with this garbage bags. And then I sprayed the foam, let it cure for a little while. And then I thought, all right, now I'll push the door into it and it'll collapse the bubbles and then let it solidify, and then I'll have a custom designed gasket, basically. So what could go wrong, huh? Well, let me just say this, it's a very good idea that I can get into the aviary through the warming area. So I had to take the cage out again. Take everything apart, go in, get into the aviary, and then cut out the foam that actually ended up, remember this little thing right here? Yeah, it turns out when foam expands, it'll even though it's covered like this with a garbage bag, it'll just push the garbage bag in and seal and basically lock the door. So it wasn't a super fun thing to figure out and undo. Hope I never have to change this. this guy turned out. All right, so you guys be the judge. Good idea that I didn't, can you see the, let's see, where's the color? Good idea that I didn't put blobs on my rocks. That was my best moss impression. Ooh-wee. That would have been something else. There we go. What, this stuff? So now what I'm trying to decide is, do I just go ahead and grab the card, put up the video, get that done, and then that will be basically all the projects. So that wraps up the, you know, the epic project theme. And then when I do get this cleaned, I could do like a, I could just show you what it looks like. The only thing is, until birds are back in here, you know, it's lifeless. It's just a weird Dr. Dolittle space. And so maybe, but if I wait until birds are getting here, it's gonna be a long, long wait. So, I don't know exactly. Maybe what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put out the 4th video of all the projects. Get that done. And if you watch the video and you want to see the end result minus the birds, I can do a quick video of just that. And then you don't have to wait. And if you don't want to see it until the birds are in, you don't have to watch it. I think that's what I'll do. If I let it go too long, there's more things there's more projects I'm going to want to do. I just know it. I just know it. So part of putting the birds in here is I have to stop. Okay. Oh, I'm so glad I did not paint my rock.